Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Everything's still fresh from the announcement of Total War Warhammer 3. I can imagine that many of you, just like myself, have combed the blog post and the Steam page for as much information as possible. But it looks like some other news outlets were given some other forms of information. More specifically, we now have some information regarding the campaign map that will launch with Total War Warhammer 3. What you're going to be seeing on screen are quotes from a PC Gamer article which launched around the same time as the trailer, which might be the reason why many of us did not notice this. It actually took some of my subscribers to make me aware of this article, so thank you for that guys, I really do appreciate it. Let's look at the first quote. To finish up the trilogy, Creative Assembly put together an appropriately huge war, which it boasts will have an unprecedented scale. Set in the realm of chaos and the lands of the Far East, a quartet of demonic factions will be vying for dominance, accompanied by a pair of new human factions, Kislev and Cathay. That's two more factions than Warhammer 2 launched with, and they're going to be fighting over a gargantuan map. Interesting, as far as we were aware from the Steam page, the map itself was going to be centered around the realms of chaos, but this article seems to state that we're going to be fighting in both the Warhammer Fantasy world and in the realms of chaos, possibly via a form of a link. Of course, we are aware that the further you move into the Chaos Waste, the more reality begins to bend, eventually leading you to the realms of chaos themselves. And there are many gateways to the realms in the Warhammer Fantasy world. So it is entirely possible that we're going to see both regions interlocking in some way, shape or form. Now, I normally don't trust online news sites, they seem a bit too tabloidy for me, but the article itself references to quotes that they had from an interview with one of the game directors, Ian. So let's read over that quote. In campaign map terms, it's big. Roughly twice the size of Warhammer 2's Eye of the Vortex, says game director Ian, and it needs to be, as this is part of the Warhammer world that gives way to the realms of chaos, which take up a significant area in their own right. But I suppose, more than anything, you can apply the term unprecedented scale to our ambition for the game. We're aiming to conclude the trilogy in a big way, from the narrative to the playable races to the wealth of new features which will come in good time. So if it's the case that the article states that we are going to be seeing the realms of chaos and the lands of the east in one map, and then of course one of the game directors saying that it's going to be roughly twice the size of the Eye of the Vortex map, well, this could indeed be true. This could be an absolutely massive map for the first campaign. Of course, we can take this in two different ways. Firstly, we can think, wow, this is going to be absolutely massive, and, well, I'm hoping so, to be honest. Or we can take into account that the Eye of the Vortex had very large bodies of water, so perhaps the map will be much larger because it won't have so much dead space. As I said, this could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. However, this could potentially be extremely interesting. If the map is indeed as big as stated, and has both our Warhammer Fantasy world, or a part of it at least, linked up to the realms of chaos, well, that might be the first time we'll see something represented as so in a Warhammer game. Of course, I'm not really referring to how the Warp or the Eye of Terror work in the 40k universe, but this is the realms of chaos themselves seeping into one specific planet. I'm curious to see what Creative Assembly will release in the future. Believe me, I scoured throughout the whole of the Steam page and the blog post, and all I saw for the main campaign information is that we were heading to the realms of chaos. There's not much more to the article. In fact, most of the other stuff, barring some quotes of stuff that we already know, is the writer of the article theorizing about what is to come. Though that being said, I do want to just put a theory out there just before we end this video. It could very much be possible in the future with regards to the Big Mortal Empires map, since the eastern parts of the Warhammer world seem to be connected to the realms of chaos. It could be possible in the future that we might see a full world map, or at least as close to a full world map as possible. I don't want to jump into too much speculation regarding this just yet, it's still a little too soon. But if the main campaign is as big as stated, it may more or less balance out with everything included so far. Whether that means that it's a full complete world or close enough is unknown, and I doubt that Creative Assembly will be willing to share any information just yet, not at least till about a month or two after Total War Warhammer 3's launch. But it is important to note that currently the Mortal Empires campaign, as far as I'm aware, has over 300 settlements in-game. The Eye of the Vortex currently has around half that number. So if things are to be taken this way, the campaign for Total War Warhammer 3's launch should be around the size of the Mortal Empires. Of course, if I am understanding things correctly. Which then in theory might mean that the new Mega Mortal Empires should be around double the size more or less, or maybe at the minimum at least 1.5 times the size of the current Mortal Empires. I don't know, the size of both seem a little bit odd to me. It does sound ambitious, but maybe too ambitious. But what do you think about this information? I'm surprised, of course, that we saw this in a PC Gamer article instead of, on the Steam page, but these things do happen, or perhaps there was some exclusivity in terms of announcement. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.